We kind of agree on everything. Your racial identity is the most important thing. Everything should be looked at through the lens of race.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. We both have a lot of opinions.
Wow. Welcome to the greatest channel that has ever existed. My name is 𝘕𝘰𝘯𝘦, and I appreciate you for being here with me. So that video by Ryan Long is also in collaboration with a dude named AwakenWithJP. Both of them are comedians, and they're left of center, Democrat, classic Democrats, but nowadays that pretty much means that you're going to get canceled. The idea of this video is to show a dramatic, exaggerated version of reality, and specifically when it comes to Bitcoin. The same way you saw that he combined the ridiculous left-leaning side, the Democratic side, and the insane racist Republican side, and they ended up saying the same things, is the same way that I'm going to show you the ridiculous of people's feelings that they have towards Bitcoin. Now, understand that people are hesitant about a new money and it's dangerous and all that stuff. But let's go through his video and I'm going to explain every single aspect of it. OK?
Have you bought any Bitcoin yet? No, I'm not stupid. Bitcoin's like a giant pyramid scheme. It's like Amway for money. Doesn't make any sense based on my inability to comprehend new thoughts and ideas.
So he says that it's a pyramid scheme because it's difficult for him to understand. The definition of a pyramid scheme is a fraudulent system of making money based on a recurring and ever-increasing number of investors. Bitcoin has risen 1,000,000% in the past 10 years. So it does this whether you add more people to the system or whether you keep the system like relatively the same. And it's completely open, decentralized. Anyone can read the code right now. Go on github.com. You can read the code from top to bottom. It's written in C++. If you have a friend that knows how to read computer code, ask him to read it for you. There's no secrets, so it's not fraudulent at all. Let's move on.
Bitcoin's way too volatile. Yeah, case in point. Did you know if you would have put $10,000 into Bitcoin back in 2010, that same $10,000 would now be worth $96,939,950.
Again, so it's very true. Bitcoin is very volatile, but it has increased 1,000,000%. Like I just said, he just said that it went from, if you put $10,000, it will go up to $90 million. You'll be a decamillionaire. It goes up and it comes down very quickly, but over the long term, it goes up, 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 and it has never stopped going up over the long-term horizon.
But that same $10,000 held in US currency since 2010 would now be worth $8,840 after adjusting for inflation. Right, that proves Bitcoin's volatile. And volatile is a word that scares me because I don't have any testosterone in my body.
So yes, the government is inflating the dollar to a ridiculous amount of levels. Have you been to the grocery store lately? I couldn't buy pork. I couldn't buy beef. I couldn't even buy flour. To buy flour, I had to like scratch the ashiness from my hand to make the dough bread because I was trying to make a pizza. It's stupid. I hate it. So inflation is getting much worse and it just keep printing the dollar over and over. Bitcoin can only be 21 million Bitcoin from now until forever because of computer code.
I love fiat currency. Storing your value in US currency is like holding ice that melts away in your hand. And with Bitcoin, there's only a finite amount of it that will ever be in existence. And that kind of security is only going to hurt the long-term value of it. Precisely. And did you know 40% of all US dollars in existence were printed in the last 12 months? And that's what makes regular currency so valuable, because they can print an unlimited amount of it, which makes the value of what you hold in that currency go up. Sure, why not?
Yeah, so I know it's hard for people to understand that there can only be 21 million versions of something that's digital, right? Because you can copy and paste whatever you have every day of your life. You've been doing it since you've been a kid. But because crypto is a cryptographic type of system, there can only be 21 million Bitcoin, because if your transaction doesn't match the database of another person's transaction, you cannot sell it, or you cannot give it to one person or give it to the other person. The databases of each person, and each person has a copy of it, the database, which has every transaction that's ever happened in the world, right? Because your databases are not matching each other if you try to hack it, right? If your databases are not trying to match each other, if you hack it, you cannot do a transaction. And if you try to add more than 21 million Bitcoin into the system, it cannot happen. Think of it like an app that was downloaded in the Play Store that can never be updated. So you can still send messages to your friends and your family through this app, but the app can never be updated. Therefore, you can never change the code in the app that says, okay, 21 million Bitcoin. No, I want to do 22 million Bitcoin. That can never happen. It's an unchangeable code.
Our current administration that's causing inflation told us not to worry about inflation. Therefore, I do not worry about inflation. It feels good to behave the way they want us to behave for their advantage. Plus, CNN put out an article for dumb people about how inflation's a good thing for us. Dude, I loved that article.
The administration told us something, so therefore I should just believe whatever the administration has done. How many times has that worked in the past 2 years? How many times has that been accurate? So the thing is that politicians are people that like power, and people that like power sometimes lie in order to maintain that power. It's a human thing. It's nothing special about politicians themselves. It's just human nature. The good thing about Bitcoin is that 1 + 1 always equals 2, because Bitcoin is based off of math. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person. It will always say that there's 21 million Bitcoin, and it will always be the way it's supposed to be.
And a huge problem with Bitcoin is you can't trust it because it's not backed by our government. Whoa! I didn't know it was that bad. It is. Why would you not want a DMV level of intelligent design monopolizing the fate of the only currency you own? Exactly.
Not backed by a government. This is also actually this is a real concern. I know a lot of people are actually concerned about this because, the government has a monopoly on violence. They control everything. They can arrest you if you commit a crime, everything like that. Normally that works, but sometimes people are encroached by greed. People are encroached by fear. Politicians are the same exact way. I know your parents were like, okay, eat your vegetables because you'll become healthy, right? So we have the same thought process that our politicians are parental figures that care about us. But no, they're just adults just like us. So they have desires that we also have the same desires. But a good politician is a politician who has the same desires as his constituents, as his citizens. But lately, some politicians have only cared about themselves, and therefore they closer to the money printer, and they just want to keep printing over and over.
And another huge flaw with Bitcoin is it's completely decentralized, which means it's missing all of its centralization. Right, so it's kind of like a dog that's been neutered. It's missing its testicles. So am I.
Oh God, another PP joke. Okay, so being decentralized is actually a good thing because there's not a single point of attack. There's not a single point of failure. Bitcoin is like the air that you breathe. It moves around. So let's say that if a government decided to cancel it in China, then the miners will move to Nigeria and print more Bitcoin. Let's say that the government in Nigeria decide to attack it, then it'll move to Iceland. And it's decentralized all over the world. And wherever it's being banned, other people will move to other places to continue to mine and create Bitcoin because it has such a crazy value. It's increased 1,000,000% in 10 years. So why would you not just move, get on a plane, take all your computer equipment and continue to mine it? There's no reason that you need to stop. It's crazy. You can't stop it.
I heard that layer 2 tech that runs on Bitcoin, like the Lightning Network? Yeah, never heard of it. Me either. But I heard it can not only take the power of currency out of the hands of the corrupt centralized institutions and put it back in the hands of the people, but it can also empower us to do the same with taking back control of free speech and online communication. I think I'm completely unwilling to follow what you just said. Same. I blacked out for a minute. Plus, I think controlled speech is freer than free speech. Because when you're told what you can and cannot say, your mind is freer to think of other things that you also cannot say.
I could talk about the censorship that's happening on social media and the censorship that's happening on YouTube itself, but I'd rather not do it. But I'd rather not talk about that. I just rather say that Bitcoin is decentralized, like I said before, and you pretty much can't take anything down. It's permanent and it's public and it's forever on the blockchain. Now, of course, if you upload yourself doing something terrible, assaulting someone online, the government is going to come and arrest you, right? You can't escape the law. You still have to obey the law. But it's really good because it prevents censorship. It allows the freedom of speech. It allows the freedom of information to go around. Because if too many people lie, eventually you're going to be caught up. And there's no way that you can just hide from it. It's going to come to light, right? So this is very helpful in not only the social media aspect, but in the financial aspect too.
Do you think you'll ever buy Bitcoin? No, I'm much more committed to being wrong about it than I am to admitting I was wrong about it. I admire your dedication. Will you ever buy Bitcoin in the future? No. I think Bitcoiners are a bunch of freedom-minded conspiracy theorists there it is, think it's better to be in control of their own prosperity and freedom than it is to have centralized authorities and systems be in control of their freedom and prosperity for them. Nut jobs.
Okay, so desiring to be committed to something that you've already been wrong about is actually called the sunk loss fallacy. It's a very common thing in social dynamics and psychology. The real definition of that is it's a tendency for us to follow through with an endeavor if we have already invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, or a lot of money into it, whether or not it's beneficial to us. We just continue doing it over and over. Human nature again.
I'm going to go wait for my next check from the government to arrive. The money from the last check they sent didn't go as far as the money from 2 checks ago they sent for some reason. Sounds like they should just print more money so they can send even more of it out. They are! Well, problem solved. I love how enslaved you are to the old system. Thank you.
Yeah, that stimulus check, or they gave out like what, 2 stimulus checks for a total of $2,000, was absolutely abysmal because it took them such a long time to do it. And I don't know why, because all they did was just go to the money printer and print over and over and over again. And then it increased inflation. And then that's why your slice of pizza costs $99.55 for no real reason. What they should have done was just taxed the wealthy people more, or found a way to stop doing more waste in government, stop giving a ridiculous amount of money to the military industrial complex. I understand that we're America. We must be number one, right? We have to be the biggest, the strongest military in the world. We can still do that without spending a ridiculous, exorbitant amount of money. But I don't know what's going to happen. So if you need to know more reasons why you should invest in Bitcoin, go to the link in the bio, download my course. You can find out everything, exactly how to make a crap ton of money, right? Without downloading my course, but it's going to take hours and hours and hours. My course is like an hour. Just go there, look at it, hour, 2 hours, if you want the details. Do it, follow my channel, subscribe. I'll shout you out in my next video. Okay, I thank you. I love you. Let's go get this money.